Well, it is beginning to feel like, not necessarily look like, Christmas where I live in Oklahoma. And I thought I'd hop on and talk about the truth behind Santa Claus, the origins of Santa Claus, because, I've had good-hearted people. They'll come up and tell me, if you take the word Santa and you move the N to the end of the word, you get Satan. And I will sometimes jokingly say, yeah, did you know that if you swap the G and the D in dog, that you get God? Anytime you move the letters in a word, you'll get a new word, which will produce a new meaning. And so, a lot of people they like to use that, or they'll say that Santa Claus is pagan in its origins. And I thought I'd just hop on here and maybe talk about that for a second. We do have to be honest and real that the Santa Claus that we have in our culture today is a mythical, legendary figure. But that mythical, legendary figure is actually based upon a true person, an actual person who lived. And this person was actually a bishop in the church during the fourth century. You see, the word Santa is Latin for saint. And Claus is short for Nicholas. And so Santa Claus doesn't mean Satan. Santa Claus actually means Saint Nicholas. And Saint Nicholas, he was born around the year 270, died on December the 6th, 343. And St. Nicholas was born into a very wealthy Christian family. And whenever his parents died, he received his inheritance and he actually gave away all of his inheritance. St. Nicholas was known for his generosity. One of the most famous stories about him is there was a father who had some daughters that were going to be taken into servanthood because he couldn't pay off his debts. And so St. Nicholas gave a bag of cash to the father so he could keep his daughters. And every year, St. Nicholas was known for going around to the poor families in his community. And around Christmas time, he would bring socks. We call them stockings today, but he would bring socks full of treats and gifts and give it to the poor kids in his community. And so Santa Claus is actually based upon a real person who was a great person, mind you. And so when St. Nicholas died on December the 6th, 343, he was canonized as a saint in the Catholic Church. And so December the 6th is St. Nicholas Day. And tradition began that on the eve of St. Nicholas Day, which would have been December the 5th, children would put out boots on the fireplace on the eve of St. Nicholas Day, and then they would wake up on St. Nicholas Day, and inside the boots would be gifts and things like that. And so that is where the tradition began. But the coolest thing about St. Nicholas doesn't really have anything to do with, giving gifts around Christmas time or anything like that, although those things are great. But St. Nicholas was a strong theological figure at a time of transition in the early church. You see, in the year 312, Constantine makes Christianity legal. It makes it a legal religion. In fact, it becomes the favored religion in the empire. Constantine becomes a Christian and he favors Christianity. Well, the Christian bishops had some infighting taking place. There was a disagreement. There was one guy named Arius, and Arius was very popular among the masses, but Arius was dangerous because Arius taught this concept. There was a time when Jesus was not. And that was the famous line from Arius. There was a time when Jesus was not. And the other bishops began sounding the alarm about this guy named Arius, who was very popular. Well, Constantine said, you Christians need to stop fighting. You need to get your act together. So he called a council. It's called the Council of Nicaea, and it happened in the year 325. And all the bishops were called together to put forth what is it that we as Christians, what do we believe? And so Arius is there, St. Nicholas is there, and they're debating the deity of Jesus Christ. And Arius making those claims that there was a time when Christ was not, which would mean that Christ was not pre existent, that Christ is not fully God. And so Arius is making his statements, and St. Nicholas, who was just a strong believer, during this council of bishops, he actually punches Arius in the face. Now you got there's a bunch of preachers at this council. You've got the Emperor Constantine who's wanting to know, what do you Christians actually believe? And a fight breaks out between Arius and Saint Nicholas because Saint Nicholas was a strong, strong believer in the deity of Christ, and he punches Arius in the face. And the good news is the Council of Nicaea put forth the doctrine that Jesus, being fully God, fully man, one substance with the Father. And so St. Nicholas and the side that we hold to, biblical Christianity, won the day, and Arius was condemned as a heretic. And so it's an interesting story of St. Nicholas. Santa Claus today is different than the Santa Claus of the fourth century. But I think it's good to know the truth. Santa Claus is not pagan in its origins. Santa does not mean Satan. It is literally Latin for saint. And Claus is short for Nicholas. And so this is a brief history of Santa Claus, the truth behind Santa Claus. And I can tell you, the original Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, he loved the Lord Jesus Christ, so much so he was willing to punch another bishop in the face at a council with the emperor present. And so thank God for Saint Nicholas. And I think we can all learn some things from him, that generosity is a tremendous thing, that God gives us resources so that we can be generous to maybe those who are less fortunate than us. And that is the life of St. Nicholas. That is where the legend and the myth of Santa Claus originates. And so hopefully this was insightful. This Christmas season, be Christmas, be like St. Nicholas, be generous, and show love to everyone around you. And God bless you. We'll see you next time.